look, I just wanted to close the proceedings effectively. Thank you again to these panellists, the panellists before, the earlier speakers, all bringing different ideas and experiences and positions. Thank you to the session chairs, Julie and Helen. Thank you, Julie again and JBA for co-sponsoring this, along with Peter Poulet and the Office of Government Architects. Thanks for all coming along. You're all going to take away different things from this. Just reiterate what I said at the beginning, that there will be a record of this on the Faculty of Built Environment website in due course. It's hard to sum up what we've covered, but someone's got to do it, and impossible task as it is, I'm going to leave the final word to our international guest, John Punter, and after that we close for lunch. Please join us if you can. But firstly and lastly is John.
Well, as you can see, I brought my pile of notes with me back to the lectern. So I think the thing that I would say is we started off at the absolute pinnacle in terms of design sophistication of a real elite process that Frank invented, in a way, of getting the very best peoples and firms together to solve a very particular problem in a very important part of the city, the downtown area. So the design competitions are, in a sense, I think, the very pinnacle of planning, architecture, architectural design, etc. And I haven't heard very much today which has shaken my faith in that system and the quality of work it's produced. I recognise, some of the ideas which are being expressed about how you might improve it, and I'm sure they will become part and parcel of the whole. Well, I wouldn't call it reshaping, but adjustments in the whole process of competitions. But of course, the pinnacle, this pinnacle, in a sense, of the very best urban design and architectural form, certainly the most expensive in the most treasured parts of the city, really, is a million miles away from much of the other discussions I've heard about how to manage planning in much more difficult environments, out in the suburbs, out in communities which don't have perhaps necessarily a very vigilant population, where resources are very limited and skills are quite limited. For me, that has been the great learning experience in a way today, to hear about Liverpool and Parramatta and places like that, and to look at some of the problems in terms of not having a master plan, not having any point of reference, and yet being confronted with something which looks like your average housing estate in Eastern Europe in 1960. So, the gulf, in a sense, across the whole process is extraordinary, and I think that's been the main thing I've learned. On the other hand, what I've learned is the extraordinary efforts which are being made in some of the in the more difficult environments to get to grips with the problems and to get to grips with planning. And that, I think, is also inspiring in its own way. So this whole gamut, really, of New South Wales and its planning problems has been exposed, at least to me. And for me, it's been a really tremendous learning exercise. And I have to thank you all for that. I don't think I can contribute anything by way of a summary that is going to in any way capture the diversity of what we've had. Because we've had everything from Chris Johnson's really bleak picture, in a sense, of where the whole process is going. But I do recognise his challenge in terms of demographics. Demographics is a critical issue, but so too is equity. And I think that was probably the point where I began, and it's probably the point where I should finish. The equity in this whole process is deeply problematic and deeply worrying. Thank you very much.